Hey people, I know it's been a while since I've been talking with you guys, but here I am again, and I want to talk about brainwashing. A lot of people been subscribing and commenting on my feed, so I said I would talk about or discuss the topics that the people wanted to hear about, and I remain unbiased, neutral on the subject, whatever it is. Now I want to talk about the brainwashing, and in order to really get into this, because this is a vast topic, this is very broad, but I will just take one item and explain to you how it works so you can understand how the brainwashing system works and how they have created a scientific module to fasten this after. Now, everybody familiar with circles or cubicles, or let's call them lobos, if you will. Just a bunch of circles jammed together. Something like a screen, like a screen porch or a screen door. You know how you have the screen and it's made up of a whole bunch of circles, but they're all crammed together. You can see through it, but if you examine it closely, you know it's a bunch of threads that's crossing one another, and it's creating these little lobos that you can see through. Now, a television screen is made up of the same type of design, but it's circles and not cross. It's made off like a projector screen, and the way that this works is it takes these circles and it arranges them in different fashions to portray a picture. And the way the picture looks on one end is reversed to send a signal to your brain, and this is how you read it. Okay, but anyway, let's talk about a camera right quick. The way a camera works, I know how many of you ever heard of pixels or megapixels. The way that cameras work is, let's say you have a pixel. Let's look at a pixel as one circle or one square. You can take that one square, and if you zoom into that square, it will begin to get blurry. You won't see a lot of definition. You'll see more blurriness than definition. You won't be able to make out what the picture is with one pixel. But with a megapixel, which means it's a smaller pixel. So this is a series of smaller pixels next to one another. Then you have another line, you have a bunch of more pixels, megapixels next to that. And eventually you create a whole screen of megapixels. You can take one megapixel, zoom in on that one megapixel, and you can still see a clear digital picture. Every flat screen TV has what's called a DLP chip. This chip is also referred to as a mirror chip or a mirror lens, because if it goes bad, it creates mirrors or stars on the TV screen where you won't be able to view it because of the reflection of the DLP chip. The way that messages are sent to the subconscious mind through media is by way of this DLP chip. They arrange it in a certain fashion, and there are ways that they can take and embed codes in your subconscious mind to wake up at a later date. Or, let me give this example. You know how children are little? 4 or 5 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years old. They begin to look at what's on TV or what's in the mainstream media. And as they get older, this stuff that they watch more and more, it becomes a part of them. So they look at it as a way of life. I'm sorry, but this is going to be a little over 5 minutes to get my point across. But they begin to look at this as a way of life. And so you have these people, they're like, oh, that's how it's supposed to be. Only because it's been going this way for such a long time. And so when it gets embedded into you, you tend to believe that this is how it's supposed to be. Just like a lot of struggling that people go through, a lot of struggling that people do. They feel like that this is how it's supposed to be because a lot of the conditions has been imposed upon us for so long that we think that this is the right way. And because everybody around us is influenced by the same thing, this is where we get our factual basis from. Now, another way of life that's been imposed upon the people, and this is my last point, and I'm gonna get off of this. I'll get with you guys next time. Is how a woman is elevated over or above a man. I'm not trying to degrade a woman or degrade a man. I'm just telling it like it is. And what happens is in our society today, they train a woman to depend on the system, not to depend on man and not to depend on God. They have so many institutions and things in the place that a woman can rely upon to help her. This is that fake support system, so that a woman will begin to depend on them and not how God created it. So this is where you get a lot of women on welfare. They depend on it. It makes you lazy. I'm not saying it's not helpful to some people who need it. But what I'm saying is how it conditions you, or it subconsciously brainwashes you into believing that the world or the government owes you a living, and that you have to just be lazy and not do anything for yourself to allow this system to take care of you. That's all the time I have for now. But I will get more in depth on this subject in a different series. Y'all take care. Thanks.